All right, here we are, starting the Bristol Energy Committee meeting at 7:10. And are there any new items to be put on the agenda before we start? I heard you had something, right?
Yes, I do, and I'll bring you up to date. The House and Senate created a...
I think we just want to put it on the agenda and not do the whole.
Oh.
And then it's on the agenda, then we'll talk about it.
Sure.
Sorry, just
Yeah.
what do you want on the agenda?
The Thermal Efficiency Working Group of the House and Senate Climate Caucus
Okay.
held its first meeting on July 11, and I can report
Okay.
the summary from the
Thermal efficiency
working group.
working group, right?
Uh-huh.
Great, that would be great to hear about that.
Okay.
And-
And may I also suggest that there is on Tuesday at the Common House on 16 North Street a presentation on global warming and the science and what you should know, and it's between 6 and 8 p.m. on July 22nd. The presenter will be the Extinction Rebellion representative.
You know, they put it in Front Porch Forum, but they didn't say where.
I know.
Is it
And she
Tuesday
still
or
hasn't.
Monday, did you say?
22nd.
So that's a Monday?
Yes.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
great.
6 to 8 p.m.
Oh, okay, Monday.
Yeah, that'd be worth filming.
Because Tuesday they've got Emerald Ash Borer public meeting in Holly Hall.
Okay,
Next Tuesday.
yeah,
Okay, that's all I
Great.
have to offer.
okay, thank you. And I wanted to just mention, or have this as an item, and that is Efficiency Vermont's latest rebates, because they have a 50%
Yeah.
big deal. It just started July 15th, so I'll just write that, Efficiency Vermont rebate, and what we might want to do as a committee to help people know about that.
And if anybody has a rental property, whether you live in one or you own one, I was stunned. On a refrigerator, $250 rebate.
Wow. We can say that along with the
on a
the
refrigerator.
all right, great.
Yeah.
Renters.
So we'll put that in.
Well, the renters can't do it. The landlord's got to
Yeah.
do it. But if you got a dumpy, ancient refrigerator in your apartment, you might want to talk to your landlord.
Yeah.
Might
Yeah.
be the ideal time to
Is that
replace
through
it.
Efficiency Vermont or?
Efficiency Vermont. Yeah.
They also have a rebate on super high efficiency air conditioners. Apparently there's something out now that is much more efficient than what's been on the market. And they cost around $400 and you can get a $200 rebate. My kids got one.
That's great.
1,500
You should go to their
BTUs.
website. I was just on there a little while ago, and the rebate page is,
Yeah,
it's like
Yeah.
this long.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff on there, from pellet stoves, wood stoves.
Well, it sounds like we are talking about this now, so let's just have this be the first one, since the first item on the agenda was going to be Stephen talking about the window project. So let's just keep going. It sounds like a lot of people are talking about the Efficiency Vermont rebate thing, and how can the Energy Committee help with that? So sounds like there's a lot of good stuff going on that's offered right now.
They're offering good stuff, and the biggest problem I found in the years that I worked with them was I would bring people into that, and people had no idea what Efficiency Vermont does. So if they can't conquer that, I don't know how we can.
Yeah, right,
it's been in Front Porch Forum, some of this stuff.
I mean,
right.
I can't open my computer without getting an Efficiency Vermont ad.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
It's
efficient-
everywhere.
I had an interesting discussion with the manager, maybe the owner of an appliance store in Burlington where I purchased a refrigerator. And he said Efficiency Vermont was trying to push through and he wasn't a fan of this, and it seems like it's stalled. But people aren't aware of what's available. So they wanted everyone who sells appliances in Vermont to actually apply the rebate at the point of sale.
Which they do for a lot of,
And then the merchant would, and it's only done, one of the objections was they only will rebate the merchant once a month. So there may be this, 3 or 4 weeks before the cash flows back into the merchant's coffers. And so there was a big pushback, and so he said right now Efficiency Vermont is kind of rethinking how they can do this. But that would be the ideal situation, that every person who goes in said, oh, by the way, this refrigerator you're buying, we can discount it $250
Right.
for you.
Right.
right now.
But then who would keep control on how much is available to Efficiency Vermont? Because they may overstep the availability.
Well, they
No, once they
based on
put
what-
this stuff out, they're gonna,
No, I mean, if the
if they only
realtor,
$70.
if the appliance sales company issues the rebate, there's no control over how much rebate can be offered before Efficiency
They
Vermont said, oh,
could go past the funding.
We're out of money.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully there would be a mechanism
Yeah.
that would alert them
Yeah.
that don't do this anymore.
I think they've got a pretty good idea of how many refrigerators get sold in Vermont every year. It's not that many. It's such a small
We're
market.
discussing stuff we can't do anything about.
Yeah, so
I
let,
just-
yeah,
I want to
so,
get off of that.
yeah, so
part of the
what could we
discussion.
do?
It's a problem.
Should we see if there is a flyer from Efficiency Vermont and we see if we can put them in covers and snaps and
Water
places like
bills.
that? Water bills. Yeah, water bills would be great. Send them out.
Is there a way to synthesize, distill would be a better word, all of their rebates into something really simple that could be posted on Front Porch Forum?
I don't know.
Just say, you should be aware for residential, these rebates are available. Refrigerators, stoves, this much, this much, this much, this much. Need more information? Here's where you get it.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
So we could do both.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
they have all the flyers, all the information, and they have all the research, and they have all this stuff. So I think the thing to do is, if we can get the town interested in putting it in any notices or bills that they put out,
yeah,
would be about the only way to really do it, other than what they're already doing.
yeah,
I mean, they've got little things in hardware stores and buy light bulbs and all
yeah,
that all over the place
yeah,
anyway, so.
yeah,
I like that idea though I saw the rebate page. It's not that complex. We could distill that to a Front Porch Forum. Are you in the market for XX and X? Check out Efficiency Vermont rebates.
Yeah, because the
That'd be easy to
residential
do.
end is pretty small.
and definitely, what's that?
The residential part of the rebate
Yeah,
is smaller. You're not
Yeah.
getting into
yeah,
evaporators and coolers.
yeah. I think,
Our-
is somebody going to do that actually, to
right, good question.
rewrite it for the Front Porch Forum?
Yeah, is anyone excited about that?
I don't do,
I'm definitely gonna go check it out, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could do a distill and Front Porch Forum thing, I'll do
Yeah,
that.
I've got about 6 things going right now. with
Yeah,
that.
I'll do that,
Yeah,
You're doing
great.
appliance each day.
yeah.
Could I ask
Well,
a
do you want-
question about
yeah.
this? It's interesting to listen to because it's still all very confusing for me and I'm listening very closely. That's why I like it when I can come and cover the meetings. But are some of the rebates income specific? Some of the
No.
information is confusing because I heard something that there was an income.
There's a threshold if your income is below a certain level, the rebate doubles.
Yeah,
So that's the
Everybody
income
gets,
piece of it.
say, $200, but if you're below a certain level, you get 400, let's say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing to add that to.
And they even have a do-it-yourself thing for
Yeah.
attics and basements. So
Yeah.
you know, poor folks can get $500 toward an attic installation, which is half of it.
They can, people in general can get up to $2,000 off, so they can, so they can do a $4,000 job and get 2,000 back.
Right.
No, but that's,
And then there's
that
the income
doubles.
thing, and then that doubles for the
So it's
lower
up to-
income. So
It's
you,
up to 4,000.
yeah, so you could do an $8,000 job and get 4,000 back if you're below a certain income, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, this is an awesome time to do it.
And I think it's a generous, I saw their chart and it's fairly generous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's real money, you know. There are gonna be a lot of people qualifying.
Yeah, that's great. So we just have to somehow let people know, because this is like the Energy Committee's job is to help
Disseminate, yeah.
help more efficiency happen in Bristol. And Efficiency Vermont is so generous or not generous, it's their job, but you know what I mean. The great deals are here, and so this is our job to try to help people understand what's going on.
Mhm.
So let's do it. All right, I'll do that.
Just going back, I'll contact Efficiency Vermont about the flyers.
Okay, great.
And see if the town will mail them and we'll distribute some.
Yeah, right. We can talk to the town about how they might want to distribute those. That'd be great. Thanks, Richard.
Yep.
Because that goes along with the energy plan we have to reduce our consumption.
Right.
So the town should have a vested interest in getting the word out.
Yeah. And then that air conditioner thing, that's another thing, but it's still on Efficiency Vermont where that
Mhm.
comes from. So that's another front porch forum thing that could happen.
There's
Friday or Saturday or
big interest in air conditioners.
Yeah.
about the after tomorrow.
So, yeah, maybe I should check that out and do a front porch forum on that first, because that's going to be so needed.
Yeah, because really all you need to do is go to the website, click on the rebate tab, and it gives you the page, and you just
Yeah.
pull out the residential ones.
Yeah. Great. I'll do that, thank you. I'm just remembering that I believe Steven sent an email that I didn't get to this afternoon, and maybe he is not going to be here. It seems like that.
The last
But,
email that I read said he was going to be late.
okay, that's great.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Okay, see, I didn't open it because I was like rushing off to work. I'm like, and then on the way here, I thought, I never checked that.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
that's
said
great.
He was going to be late.
Okay, excellent.
Good.
I'm glad to hear that. Okay, so do you want to talk about what you brought up
Oh,
at
yes,
this point?
the workshop. Well, again, the House and Senate members created a climate action caucus, and they broke it down into several subcommittees or working groups, one of which was the thermal efficiency working group, and it was chaired by Representative Scott Campbell. And the idea was to come up with recommendations after some pretty thorough discussion, recommendations that could go to Legislative Council and become legislation early in the second session. So it will already have had the imprimatur of the House and Senate caucus members. And Richard Fazey was featured in this first working group. I attended.
He's the chair of the Starksboro Energy Committee.
Yes. And he really is the point person on building energy codes. He made several recommendations, and I think I emailed that around to you. It's really worth looking into, because if this is going to be draft legislation for the second session, Richard is going to have his hand in writing it. And since we've already had a conversation with Starksboro Energy Committee about working together on building codes, then we could join in advocating through our state representatives and certainly Senator Bray, and lobby it through. One of the issues, I didn't understand it all entirely, it's kind of a new area to me, but on his presentation, which is quite thorough, ideas for improving compliance, registering contractors to install the efficiency equipment and design according to a new and stronger building code would require some training, and that's what he's advocating, training, but also enforcement by the housing inspectors, who also are trained to understand these new and tougher building energy efficiency codes. So with that, he would find a way to implement that which is sort of being done, but not in a way that we regulate other things like smoke detectors. And he's trying to bring it up to that kind of level where a real estate agent would have to comply with this, the housing inspector would certainly have to comply with it, and if the house did pass all of the new and tougher building energy efficiency codes, then the real estate agent could market that house as a more efficient home, which could possibly help in its sale, but also maybe increase its value. So it's a win-win. But the real estate industry is reluctant to take on something more. Well, it's only perhaps because they haven't really been educated that the state is going to require this eventually, so they've got to get on board. But we could be talking with real estate agencies as well and say, why would you not want to be marketing a home that's more energy efficient?
Well, it would be good to find out what their concerns are and, you know, figure out how to do it in a way that works.
They don't want to put a lot of time and effort, more than they already do, in trying to sell a house. And I think that they're not going to want to get in on the compliance end of that at all.
No, it would simply be kind of equivalent to an Energy Star rating, wouldn't it?
Right.
Yeah, pretty much, yes. Yeah.
The realtor wouldn't create it or anything, they just mention it, this house is...
Sure. That the house is lead-free and it's also energy efficient and up to code. Yeah.
These are the
And you'd think that would certainly be a plus for the price tag on the house.
Well, at the worst case, it would actually help with the mortgage, because the cost to operate the house would be less.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So people would be able to finance more of the house.
Yeah.
So it could be seen as alleviating the pressure.
Right.
You need to present it in a way
Yeah.
so that it's taking pressure off the realtor, not adding something.
Totally. That's why it should really be done together with, you know, realtors at the table working with the...
So there needs to be some kind of, well, they already have the commercial building efficiency standard and the residential building energy standard.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They already have the forms. The commercial ones are filed at the state level. The residential ones, I think, are at the town level.
I think that's the confusing part. It's the residential that they're really focused on. Yeah,
And
not the
residential's
commercial.
tough in Vermont because there's so many rules that just, Vermont is unwilling to apply to an individual building their own house kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're just really reluctant to go there, and I can see the logic.
That paper that you circulated said that residential compliance is estimated at 60%,
It might be a little
and then the
generous.
commercial is higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But I'll just sum it up by saying that if we coordinate with Richard, who will be the lead person on this, I think, as the state legislature starts looking at draft legislation, we can get behind him, take his direction, and augment what he's trying to do through the Bristol Energy Committee.
Yeah, I think if
Yeah, I
you're
think
willing to take the lead, you're a stakeholder on a committee, right?
Well, I am,
So-
yes. Oh, I should also mention that the chair, Scott Campbell, said the August 1 meeting, the topic will be workforce training, and not just for weatherization, but plumbing and electricity. And I suggested that they should work with the Department of Corrections to see how recently released prisoners, and also people who have gone through successful opiate and substance abuse treatment could be candidates for this training, because when
Great idea.
they come out of wherever, it's going to be awfully difficult for them to get jobs. And clearly, the jobs we're talking about are not white collar, but these persons could be trained while they're incarcerated or in the rehab program. He liked the idea, and
That's great.
they're likely
Yeah.
going to include this
That's what we need
Nice.
to do.
in the workshop
Yeah.
on August 1.
Yeah,
One
it-
good way to increase the workforce too.
Yeah.
There's also Youth Build and Vermont Works for Women.
Yeah, right.
Should be
That's a good one.
involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a work in progress, but I think they're keen on this. As you know, the bill that we wrote for Representative Cordes included a workforce development. Well, it wasn't included in the legislation, but it's been spread around committees, so workforce development is a prime item for the second session. And this area in particular can get some push through this working group.
Because these are good paying jobs.
Yeah,
These aren't minimum wage jobs.
and they're career oriented, yeah.
And you can go, you can advance in the
Yeah.
trades.
That's great.
So I'll attend the August 1 and I'll report back to you
Excellent.
where that discussion is going.
Great.
Great.
This is something that got sent to you probably. Everyone got that in their email, right? I sent
Yeah.
that to everyone. Okay, just so you. Excellent.
Thank you.
Great.
Sorry I'm late.
No worries, we're glad you're here. We just did two things that were put on at the last minute on the agenda, but now we're up to the window project.
How timely.
So you're not late.
Okay, right on
Right on
time.
time.
So I circulated, did you get a copy of that?
I did not because
Oh, okay.
I didn't get to see it.
Do you want to make a copy? So you can see it? Did anybody else need a copy?
Yeah, can I do that right now somehow? Here?
Oh, I don't know, maybe not. I guess not.
I need a code.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll listen carefully
Okay, well,
and look forward to, did you send it and then onto my computer, right? I mean, you sent
yeah, it's on your
along?
computer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I didn't get back to that email.
that's okay. So this is just a draft proposed release for Front Porch Forum to notify the town people of this project. And let's see, I didn't bring my glasses, so I'm trying to remember
yeah.
what it says. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, those aren't good.
You want to try a different one?
Nice
No,
try.
I'm gonna eke it out. Let's see if I hold it right about there.
I'll hold it
Maybe you
for
could, yeah, right. We could read it to you off of this one.
If you want to read it out loud, I'm not sure, or just read it amongst yourselves and.
I mean, I'd be glad to read that out loud and then everyone would hear it.
Sure.
I read it. It sounded pretty good to me.
Yeah, I think it's great.
So pilot
Pretty well
insulating,
written.
pilot insulating window project, Bristol Energy Committee. Bristol's Volunteer Energy Committee is soliciting town residents interested in outfitting their homes with custom fit insulating window inserts. The inserts will be made of clear plastic stretched over a wooden frame. Foam edging ensures a tight fit and makes inserts easy to install in the winter and remove in the spring. This year we'll have the ability to serve 5 to 10 homes. We anticipate expanding the program substantially in coming years. These inserts have proven to be one of the most cost-effective ways to reduce winter energy consumption and improve comfort. The annual savings for a typical window have been estimated at around 15 gallons of number 2 fuel oil per year.
Per window.
Per window.
Per window.
Yeah, for a typical window, yeah. At a cost to the homeowner of about $38 for an average size insert, the payback would be around 1 year at current oil prices. Properly cared for, the expected lifespan is 5 to 10 years. This is a great deal.
Sign up.
Yeah. Kits for the window inserts will be produced by Window Dressers, a grassroots volunteer-run nonprofit organization that trains, supplies, and supports teams of community volunteers who conduct community workshops to build insulating window inserts for local residents. To express interest in participating or for more information, contact Stephen Taylor by email.
And this is for posting on Front Porch Forum.
Right,
This is
proposed
the-
release
the-
on
right.
Front Porch Forum. Sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't say that part.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Unless there are other ideas on where to get it out there. I do anticipate getting some marketing brochures from window dressers. I thought I would have them by today along with a sample of the insert,
yeah.
but unfortunately they didn't mail it out
Yeah.
on time.
What mill is the plastic?
Good question. I don't know.
Is it absolutely transparent, not clear,
Yeah.
but transparent?
Yeah, it's like glass. It looks like glass when you look through the two. There's two films actually, one on each side of it.
Is it cat proof?
No,
No way.
definitely not.
No.
Nothing's cat-proof.
We have them in our offices over at the old high school, but they're metal framed
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and they're double plastic
yeah.
and they're, pressed in with a rubber,
Oh,
like a screen, yeah.
yeah. And then there's foam on the back so you can squish it against your,
those I wonder if they're heavier duty. Are they pretty heavy gauge plastic, or do they look transparent? Can you?
they're definitely transparent.
Okay. Yeah.
Someone broke through the one in my office because they were trying to get in because they left their key or whatever.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
So that one is busted, but
So they do offer repairs for a reasonable amount of money if you do run into problems either with the gaskets or punctures. They can be repaired.
yeah.
But they are not.
Apparently they're
Indestructible.
sweeping New England. I
Are
was
they?
talking to the grassroots fund people, I don't know, last week. And I mentioned, I filed our report and I was talking to Tess at the grassroots fund and she said, I told her that we might be applying for a GROW grant at some point to facilitate this project. And she said, oh yeah, the guys from Maine. She said, everybody's doing that, it's great. It's just apparently incredibly successful.
They're swamped, and so they're looking to
Yeah.
start up a new operation to produce these things in Vermont
Nice.
next year. So
It's great.
if you know anybody that has an empty woodworking facility, and
What kind of financing would be available? My home must have 20 windows.
yeah, I'm not aware of financing options. They're normally, paid for by the homeowners.
Yeah, sure.
Would that qualify under Efficiency Vermont's
Oh, I see
do
what
it
you're saying,
yourself?
yeah.
Their DIY air sealing or
Yeah, I
something.
wonder.
Wow.
They are very cost effective.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That
Well-
might be a question to ask Efficiency
Oh,
Vermont. I mean, you
actually-
would think they'd be aware of.
Could you?
Sure.
I could look into that.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
I'd like to know if there's a rebate through.
I'm not aware that there are, but there might be. Who knows?
Maybe
Yeah.
we could create one.
Because usually I think they like to fold those into full home comprehensive audit programs, right?
I think
See, now they're-
this new plan
They're
is
parsing it
different.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are splitting things
Yeah.
up to get
I
people
see.
to do more stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
this is great.
I'll look into that.
We could possibly create yet another rebate.
And I know they're familiar with the concept, because they.
Oh yeah, they've got to be.
Well, they even had the ones with the metal. It's like this, it's like a screen, but it
Uh-huh.
goes in double and it's plastic over it.
Yeah.
I mean, Dave Keith had a sample of that.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, you're familiar with, they're gonna know exactly what it does. Talk to Dave Keith.
Oh, okay. He's at Efficiency Vermont.
Yeah, I would just start right with him instead of going through
Yeah,
go
yeah.
right to Dave Keith.
Kind of Dave from way back.
Great,
Yeah,
very good.
Steve, do
he's
you
like
think,
the only other person that's been doing it as long as us.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he was doing it when I started. Yeah.
Do you think we should, on the Front Porch Forum post, do you think there should be a response deadline? When do you think you need to know?
I mean, we really need, I figure if we want to end up with 5 viable homes where it's feasible, cost effective, and you'll see in the second thing, I propose a
Yeah, do you want me to read this
response
part?
that goes into a little more detail about how we're gonna figure out which 5 to 10 homes to, yeah, go ahead and read that.
Yeah.
We have follow-up email to residents expressing interest. Thank you for your interest in the pilot window project. This year, our project will be a learning opportunity for the Energy Committee and participants alike. We anticipate being able to serve only 5 to 10 homes this year. Here are some additional details about the process. We will conduct a brief phone interview with interested homeowners to assess feasibility and potential for energy savings. Generally, the inserts are cost-effective on any single glazed window, even if it is accompanied by an extra exterior storm. However, not all windows can be treated, owing to trim details, shape, and other limitations. The cost of each insert will depend on the size, ranging from about 30 for a 20 by 36 unit to about 54 for a 44 by 68 unit.
That's big.
That's
It's like a window, a door, essentially.
Yeah, if I have any concern at all, maybe listen, you could talk about this. If I'm sealing all my windows, as evidently these inserts would, is it going to change the transfer of air in my house?
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
That's the whole point.
That's why it's going to be.
Is it going to actually cause more
If you
indoor
have,
air pollution?
if you have single glazed windows, I'd be willing to bet dollars for donuts you're not gonna run into trouble.
All right,
I
okay.
think the wind's probably still gonna blow through
All
your
right,
house.
fine. That's the only concern I might
It'd
have.
be a
But
dream.
no, I think it's a valid point, and I think we should probably point that out to people when we interview them, and especially if
Yeah,
they
we-
sign up for them.
I mean,
You should make
you can
clear.
ask people if their windows fog up and stuff like that.
We could
Ahead of
recommend
time.
that they get an energy audit if there's any concern at all.
Yeah.
Or blow a door test. I'll teach you how to do it,
Maybe-
you can do it.
Maybe put an automatic fan in the bathroom to vent their house.
Which there's rebates for.
Yeah. White painted pine is available at a modest additional expense. Payment in full will be required in advance of ordering sometime in late August or early September. A team of trained measurers from the Energy Committee will visit homes selected to participate in this year's limited pilot project. We will select and visit homes on the basis of feasibility potential for energy savings. In October, unassembled kits will be delivered to our companion participating town, Charlotte, where 2 work days will be organized for volunteers to assemble the inserts. Homeowners are welcome and encouraged to participate in one of the work days. For more information about the program, go to this. That's great.
That's what I got
Nice.
so far.
I think it's fantastic.
Well,
You don't really need that, you can't see it. Maybe I should take it,
You can have it.
because I don't have a printer at home either.
And let's see, you volunteered to be a measurer,
Yes,
right?
sure.
And Mike, anybody else want to volunteer to be measurers?
I might be able to, yeah.
Okay. I will be connecting with a guy in Charlotte, Jamie Gerlaw, about setting up a time to meet with him and go over that, because he's had the training. And I now actually have also the manual, which I'll forward to
All of us.
all of you, if you'd like, yes. That goes over some of the nitty gritty of how to measure and all the considerations.
Because how do you deal with the out of square and stuff like that?
Can't do them. They're not gonna build
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
square windows.
If they're way out, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they just won't
I
be.
mean, what are the tolerances?
I don't know, I haven't actually read the manual yet, but
Right.
that's a good question.
Yeah, as long as this is square and you get it big enough, you can put it on a window that's slightly off, I
As
suppose.
long as you have enough, cushion, foam cushion.
Yeah,
Let's see about this.
well, how much flex in the frame?
Yeah, 0. I mean,
Zero.
it's essentially
Once it's
rigid.
square and those things are plasticed up, it's not
Yeah.
gonna move. If you do move it, you're gonna have,
That's right,
yeah,
Yeah.
wrinkles.
Right, yeah, I think they're not flexible.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think
So
that's,
is the foam around the outside edge?
I believe it is, yes. Yeah.
I'm gonna ponder this, I'm gonna come up with a better way.
I think you should
I think
reinvent
you
the
should
wheel too.
I think you should be right there with us
I
doing
like
it.
that, that's my, I like reinventing.
There's gotta be a better
the
wheel.
There's gotta be,
Square ones.
well greased.
Well, thank you for all the research and
Good,
the
you're welcome.
thoughtful
Impressive.
front porch forum. So,
So should we
Who's gonna-
authorize you to go ahead and post it and start the process?
Yeah, but actually, I suggest it comes from Sally. That,
Okay.
and, you know, the responses can come to me and I'll field them at the
Yeah.
email address I gave.
Okay, that's great.
If you're willing to post it. that'd be
yeah,
great.
yeah, it looks so smart posting that great
Go for it.
post.
Should you insert the word interior someplace where early on, so
Well, they
it's
call
clear
them
they go
inserts.
inside?
I think it would be handy to say that somewhere, because some people might not get that.
Sure, put it in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
I
got
just go back to my question about the deadline
Mhm.
for people
Oh,
to
yeah.
respond. What do you think?
If we post it for maybe, what, 3 or 4 days in a row, just so that people don't miss it, right?
For 3 or 4 right now, I don't know if Front Porch Forum loves that idea.
Yeah, they'll go.
They'll go with that? Just
Yeah.
3, like
Or
3 days
maybe
right
every
now?
other day for,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
just
Sure.
spread it, at
Spread it
least
out a
3
little bit.
times, I think.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And then we'll begin to see how many responses we get. Maybe I'm being optimistic here, but I think people are gonna be interested.
Totally, I think
And,
we'll be inundated.
Right, so, I don't know if we need a deadline, I think.
Yeah, I think let it go, and then if there's,
We could follow up
Nothing,
with
then we
another
can-
one later
Yeah.
and say, look, okay, time's running out, please
Sign
respond
up
to
now
us
if you
on
want
such
it.
and so. But I
Yeah.
think we're not gonna have a hard time finding,
right, I'm sorry.
There are many people who don't do the front porch forum, how to reach them.
yeah, good
And I
Yeah,
know
point.
good
a lot
point.
of them would be people who could really use this
Yeah,
service.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, we are gonna have these, cards, I'm not sure what they are exactly, but they're coming from window dressers. And we can put them out in various places around town, I guess, to distribute that way. And we can, there may be some posters too that we could put up.
yeah, that's a good
I'm not
idea.
sure whether they're sending those as well, but,
Yeah, maybe we could
We
make
could
a
generate
poster
it, too.
out of
Yeah.
something. Yeah, that'd be good, just to
so
post
we'll
it
do
up.
posters.
Does the Addison Independent have a free posting for community service type of stuff? Community?
We could just issue a press release if we wanted to, right?
That's one way
Yeah,
to do it.
certainly.
Yeah, you
That-
could do that. I don't know why I thought that there was somewhere where you can actually, get something into the Addison that doesn't cost money.
You know, Chris Ross, who writes for the Addison, this would be a story, he'd like this story.
He would love it.
He writes great stories.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He should talk to you.
I'd be happy to talk with him. I am a little concerned about getting too many people signed up for it.
I
when-
agree.
When we only have 5 to 10 kits available to us for this year.
Yeah, I think,
If it was more informational as to, letting people know about it as a pilot project
Yeah,
with
call
very
it a
limited
pilot
access.
project.
yeah, I think so,
Yeah.
pilot.
That's
Yeah.
one thing, but
Pilot.
It could go the other way completely. They won't be stopping at your door necessarily.
But
Well,
it's still
I probably-
expensive.
I'm,
could be.
yeah,
It's
It
still
could be.
expensive. I mean, $30 to $50 a window, 10 windows,
Yeah.
that's real money.
$300 and you're gonna save $300 that year.
But if you don't
It's
have
pretty quick.
$300,
If you
Yeah.
don't have $300, yeah.
Would it be worth checking with Efficiency Vermont before it's posted to see if in fact something like
They
that
want to play.
would be eligible?
Yeah,
And then you could mention that in posting as well.
yeah, absolutely. I'll do that right away
okay.
before posting.
That would be a Matt Sharp
Okay.
question, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds great.
Do you
Okay.
have contact info for Matt Sharp?
As opposed to Dave for that question, as to whether,
Dave, who?
Yeah, Dave
Dave
Keith
Keith.
is like, he's into the contractor training and technical
different.
end and,
that's not the
Yeah.
Incentives
right.
so much.
Matt would know the
Matt.
incentives,
Matt's
yeah.
more on the public
That makes
interface.
more sense.
So,
He was just telling me about it yesterday. over over the fence.
Okay, so I'll get in touch with Matt right away before we
Great.
post it.
Sounds good.
And,
Just ask them if there's any way they want to play.
right, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It would be nice to subsidize them somehow, but,
Yeah.
Well, that is definitely our goal for next year, when,
yeah.
and I don't know if you were just talking about that last time, but we're eager to make it available to all households regardless of income. But for this year being the first time we're doing it, we're kind of looking to learn about the system and the process before we also add in fundraising to subsidize low-income homes.
So
But-
hold off on an article.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
know about that. I mean.
You could talk about the pilot project and,
Yeah,
still
that's
say
fine.
what might be happening down the road, but
Yeah, follow it up.
at least just talk about the pilot project,
Yeah.
Yeah.
get people
I
excited
think
about it.
that would be good, just plant a seed. You know, you don't
Let
have
them know
to-
what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great. Christopher's great. He read
What's
such
his
a
name?
good,
Christopher.
Christopher
Christopher Ross.
If you read the Addison Independent, a lot of the stories are by him.
Okay.
Is the Addison Independent, isn't there like one company that owns Silver News and Essex, Williston Whistle and all those, aren't they all like owned by the,
What other
I
newspapers?
think there's one company that owns like 5 of them.
The Lynns, isn't it Angelo Lynn?
This is the St. Albans
And
Messenger.
his brother is like St. Albans Messenger, I think.
Do they have more as well? I don't know.
I don't know, I just know that the Lynn brothers were involved, there was the.
Middlebury and St.
And
Albans.
St. Albans.
Yeah, that's what I'm aware of.
If you can, yeah, and you can just, it's like Christopher at Addison County or something. It's pretty, you'll easily be able to find it. If you don't, I have his
I'll
email.
get in touch with him and explore it with
Yeah.
him. Let him know what we're doing. and
Thanks.
Maybe put something together.
Yeah, he'll know what you're going.
Yeah.
I do.
All right, that sounds great for the window project, I'm psyched. So, we want to move into discussing the anaerobic digester energy system. From what we learned last time, it's hard to get our head wrapped back into it, but would you like to just bring up some thoughts on it? Oh yeah, you had some stuff to talk about. You said
Yeah,
you
just-
Wasn't somebody gonna talk to them about what their ingredient list was and how they were gonna get the material?
I'm not sure,
That
but
there was a follow-up.
we did talk
Were
to
you
some
sent,
people.
did you send a letter back to them? Did you send a letter
Yeah, I think so, didn't you?
back to the, what's their names?
Jill and
John?
Jack.
Yeah, that's where I was
Yeah.
going.
send, oh, that letter, yeah, that one, that
Yeah, we
was a
sent
while
it.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if everybody else saw that, or did everybody else get a copy?
that's a good question.
Yeah,
I don't
we
think I
all-
did send
We
it.
all plugged in.
Okay, everyone got to see
I
that.
thought you sent it.
Yeah, I sent that. So the question was,
There was,
we just kind of said what we were thinking, how we were feeling about that, and if they wanted to come to the next meeting, we'll be talking about it. That was basically
Yeah.
Yeah.
what it was, right?
I thought
And I haven't
they
heard
were-
of Pete.
I thought they were, Jill, I guess her name was,
Yeah.
right? I thought she was gonna give us an idea of what materials were available and
Right,
what they would
okay.
be hauling in and.
Right.
So we,
I think she had to do a little homework.
Yeah.
Could I give you an update?
that would be great.
It's kind of an informal thing. I heard some noise in front of my house today, and there was a young lady digging a hole out in the front. So I went out to see what it was all about, and it was Jill as one of her businesses is servicing water lines. And so they're going through the town and they're checking for leaks. They have a listening device. This killed me. She uses a dowsing rods to
Excellent.
find them.
It's
I
great.
mean, it's awesome. Anyway,
So
so we
great.
started, we both realized we knew each other and then figured it out. And she told me that they are looking now to possibly purchase property down on Route 116 at the corner of Hewitt Road.
Hewitt,
This
you
is
said?
very preliminary, because they feel, in looking at the public garage and dump site area, there are questions about even being able to build
Totally.
something of that nature on a fill
Yeah.
area, plus some of the other issues. So it sounds like they're moving ahead with that, and she said once they find out if they can purchase that property, they'll then come back with a full proposal. And I think at that time we get the answers to a
So
lot of these
that's when we get into
questions.
the nitty-gritty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is across from Lathrop's.
Mhm.
But there's something major going on there right now. What's being
Yeah,
built
What
in
is
there?
that?
I don't know.
I heard it's a machine shop
A machine shop, wow.
That'll be interesting.
Huh,
of some sort, yeah.
Yeah,
wow.
My concern was, and I realized that this is really a work in progress for them both, but in this area, I can't imagine where the sources of their feedstock will be.
Yeah,
I can imagine it in Burlington, certainly, in Montpelier.
But they're talking
But-
about truckloads of sewage sludge and
Yeah,
stuff.
but again, it's like they're kind of making it up as they're going along, rather than having an inventory of dedicated resources. So
Yeah.
Which is
without
why
that, I don't know.
That's why I was asking the question about what ingredients they needed and how they were
Yeah.
gonna find them and.
Well, I thought, and again, my memory's not always best, I thought that was something that she was going to work on,
yeah.
Yeah.
and
I think
get
it
back
is.
to
to identify some logical, she mentioned some possible sources, but,
I think they're still working that out.
yeah, I don't,
It's not gonna be covers.
It seemed, I mean,
don't
and they were
think so.
even talking about needing to bring in materials from as far, you know, they were talking about potential source areas being Burlington and Middlebury and
And
Rutland.
But the
Rutland, yeah.
cost, the
Oh, I know, but-
transportation costs are,
But
I've seen
where do
this,
you think those trucks from Rutland are going now? You're gonna
Coventry.
Coventry,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
And Coventry's gonna close.
Right.
You know, again, I think we have to wait to see
Yeah,
what they
yeah.
come up with,
we
really.
just have to
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
that's wise.
I like the idea,
Yeah.
but there are some issues.
Yeah.
And I'm a little concerned about what happens the day after the investors have made their
I
money.
know. Go,
Mhm.
yeah.
Be an auction.
Yeah.
Okay, so should we move on and wait till we get more info on that?
Do we wait for more info or do we
Oh, we-
solicit?
Well, if they're pursuing a private
Yeah.
property to locate it on, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I think they will come to us.
They'll
Yeah.
come back to the town
Yeah.
with a proposal
Yeah.
to include whatever zoning and
yeah.
all the rest.
Yeah.
There's nothing, it's not like on our agenda to do this. It's more on their agenda to do it, and they just want, okay, it's like, yeah.
Not her project.
It just seems like the earlier you're in, the more you can kind of guide things.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, you want to make sure it doesn't happen too much before you get a chance to weigh in on things.
Right, 'cause if you get too far, then
Yeah,
you
right,
don't quite have
That's a good
as
point.
much oomph.
yeah.
Where in this region are there other digesters?
Hill Farm? Hill Farm?
The Hill Farm,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's a much smaller scale,
Mhm.
obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious, because I
He
wonder.
had the handout, I wish I brought him now, we're sitting on my
Yeah,
desk.
I probably still.
He had some pictures of them.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Those are
weren't
far-
any-
they
I don't
weren't
think
anywhere.
there
Those
were
are
any of
far
them on
away.
it.
Yeah, they were not.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
There wasn't another one in Vermont?
I don't think so.
Maybe, but
Uh,
they're in New York State or Ohio.
Yeah.
One
That's
was
right, there
in
was one in
Ohio, yeah.
Ohio. Yeah.
I mean, I think that he's excited about doing the biggest one, that kind of thing. So it's a big thing. It's not a small time like Hills or even,
Right.
it's big time what he's thinking
Well,
about
if
doing.
you look at it, I don't, this is a 1 megawatt in Brunswick, Maine. It's huge.
Yeah,
That's a huge structure.
Tanks.
Yeah, it's a good, it's an operation.
I mean, here's
So-
one that's just an 800 kilowatt, and, I mean, can you imagine that down in the corner of Hewitt's?
Yeah,
Kind
I
of
mean,
looks like a
that'd be
sewage treatment.
That'd be the
I
size
mean,
of,
that right there is a sewage
that'd certainly be
treatment.
the size of Lathrop Sawmill.
I think,
Oh,
yeah, I think we should not talk
Yeah.
about it too much until we know
Yeah.
more, and
Well, some of the
I mean,
solar
it-
fields are pretty big too.
Mhm.
That's true. But they're not hauling in
I think we'll
all
get,
sorts of
It's
stuff.
not our,
Also, they need sun.
it's not our place to encourage them.
right,
Right.
right,
We can give you feedback.
yeah. And I think it's worth
Yeah,
staying
that'd
tuned
be-
in,
that'd be an interesting
and then
community
being able to
discussion.
weigh in when we
When they start
feel like we
getting
want
older and
to,
bringing all these
if we're concerned about something.
everything.
Yeah.
But,
Well, it's,
They
if
thought
it's,
the gravel
if it's
pit
feasible,
cushion was high.
it certainly will help us meet our energy goals,
right,
which is something we need to be concerned
Yeah.
about, so.
yeah. And certainly other committees and stuff will be caring about, how, planning and zoning, and they're gonna be
Right.
caring about a lot of the stuff that we don't have any control over anyway. So hopefully, we show up at those meetings and we say, hey, what's going on with this?
Well, they're doing their, their due process, I guess,
Yeah.
by crossing all the Ts, which is great.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
I think it's,
And another issue I thought about was water demand, because they talked a lot about flushing out tanks.
Yeah.
And then
They're
they've
gonna
got to
use a lot.
dispose it.
oh, interesting, yeah.
Yeah, heat,
Yeah.
hot water, where's that gonna go? Certainly not the river. That's not gonna help the river
They'll
much.
heat
to
all
heat
the
up.
houses on 116,
That's a good idea.
all 5 of them.
Well, they could send a heat to Tommy Lathrop.
Yeah,
Dry lumber,
dry
yeah.
lumber, geez,
There you go.
that's a.
It's heat intensive.
Yeah,
So maybe
And that would
maybe there's
cut
a partnership there.
anyway,
There we go.
So the next is the library. Oh, listen, just went away. When he
Yeah.
comes back, we'll talk about the library audit.
I'm gonna do the update.
Yeah, the update. Okay, so the update that came from Richard Fazy from Starksboro. We had a lot of 5-town energy committee meetings. We had a lot of members from energy committees in the 5 towns come to this meeting. Starksboro had 3, Moncton had 2 people, Bristol had 4 of us. Well, Jim Dumont, he's not a committee member, but he was
Yeah.
there.
Why was he there?
I invited him.
It was
Okay.
I thought he'd be interested in.
just for general
getting to know,
interest,
yeah.
I see,
He's definitely interested in energy.
yeah.
And then a couple of guests were GMP, Robert Dostis, and Caleb Elder.
Mhm.
And so the committees talked about what they're working on. And I sent this to everyone, so everyone has this now. So we don't have to go into it in detail. I kind of wanted people to see it and see if there are any things we definitely want to work on together with other energy committees, or are we happy with what we're doing? I guess just tune into what's going on and what we might want to do.
Caleb had an interesting idea, and I had a conversation with him. He's actually going to work on this on paper and perhaps be ready for the second session. Cameras on Interstate 89 catching speeders, who then would be paying their speeding fine, because there's pretty much no limit on how fast cars are driving on 89. And he thinks that it's a violation of the law, number one, but also it's a waste of fuels and adding needless more carbon dioxide.
It's also dangerous.
Yes, that
Yeah.
too. Considering the condition of the road sometimes. So he wants to explore a piece of legislation for the second session.
Yeah, in Canada, they have those highways, smart highways that,
Yeah.
Norway too.
pardon?
Norway too.
Norway, yeah.
And in Washington DC,
Everybody
and
drives
I've
the
been a
speed limit
victim
in Norway.
several
They
Did
times.
they take your picture and then send you a
Oh
ticket?
God, yes, yeah.
Yeah,
I hate
You
that.
can't argue it. I mean, you can't say, well, it was malfunctioning, you pay.
Yeah.
I got one of those today, not a speeding thing, but just because in Massachusetts I went took a toll road that they didn't, they don't toll booth, they just send you a bill. Yeah, you went this way and you owe us, $4.71.
Was that an easy pass thing?
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah.
It wasn't an easy pass. Like, I didn't go through anything that said easy pass that I remembered, but it was on the way out to the airport to get my nephew, and somewhere they said, toll, whatever toll ahead, but there was nothing happened. It was just like, I don't know, I just was driving and they said, dude.
The reason you know you're on that road is because it's empty. Happened to me in Florida. I was like, why is this road empty? Every other road is just full of cars. And it turned out the same thing. They
Got the bill in the mail.
got to go in the mail. Right?
I have a feeling I-89 though is the only choice for most people,
Yeah,
so they're,
There's some creepy nonsense going on there.
I wondered about that. I wondered if there was creepy nonsense going on that piece of paper. So I should check into it, I
Those
suppose.
cameras set up. The policemen should do their job. Sit out there with their radar guns. They're gonna catch
Ask
you.
them to
Catch you.
It's
send
so
you
much
a
less
picture of your
expensive.
car.
Catch
So much
you
more
on it.
cost
Right, right.
effective.
What else are they gonna do?
They'll pay the bill.
Yeah, they sit out there and after
Yeah.
they eat donuts. Right?
Well, the state could balance its budget on I-89.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. So
it's
that,
a huge
I think
revenue
it's-
source.
yeah, I think it would be,
And safety, boon for
Yep.
safety.
yep.
yeah, safety,
So-
efficiency,
If you want
energy.
to keep up with it, Caleb would be the point person who would maybe even come here
I'm
one night and talk
opposed.
about it.
Yeah. You're opposed?
Let the libertarians go bonkers.
Oh yeah, this won't go over well.
There's a lot of places that have cameras almost at every stoplight too.
Yeah.
In the Amelia.
Oh, Burlington.
Really? Does Burlington have it?
No, Burlington, Winooski, they're all over the place.
Huh, I didn't know.
Another,
Do they send bills,
No.
tickets by mail?
No, but they're watching.
No.
You don't want to run a red light.
They have a laser that just nails you.
You just
Disintegrate your car.
Get zapped.
Like a bug zapper.
so another thing we talked about was aiming to get performance contracting on the September school board agenda, along with the indoor air quality presentation. In the performance contracting was shown to the facilities and superintendent and different energy committee people, and a great video, and then it was shown to the board, the school board, so they've all kind of seen a little bit about it, but to keep encouraging that to, bring down costs of any kind of renovation or work on the school by using efficiency, the savings from efficiency, and that would be another way to educate a little bit. And so we should keep our eyes open and ears and maybe
As long
help
as I
encourage.
As long as I follow this, I have a sense that the school board says, this is our sandbox. And we'll determine who gets into our sandbox. Whether Virgin's is saving a lot of money and feels really good about this performance contract that came in and retrofitted the buildings. All we're asking is that the school board meet with folks at Virgin's. Let
Right.
Virgin's technical people come and say, well, this is what we did. You don't have to sign on to anything, but you have to understand that it worked for us, it can work for you. But the school board says, we'll decide when.
Is Caleb gonna push that?
Yeah.
He's
I
on
think
the
they
school
will.
board.
Yeah,
I think they will.
Caleb is requesting to
And
get,
Richard, I'm sure, is going to push that.
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
going to talk to Mike Davey from Virgin's.
We've done everything but
Yeah,
a
I
hunger
understand.
strike.
I think the board is coming around with some of this stuff. And there's a community engagement group and,
But, no, not on this issue.
yeah.
Not on the performance standard issue.
Yeah, not yet, but I've been to some of these IAQ meetings, and it's just that they've been working on the indoor air quality first. They're gonna get to energy at some point. I really feel like they
Yeah,
are.
okay.
The two are so intertwined.
Yeah.
You gotta do them at the same time.
Exactly, that's the point, yeah, really, that's what Virgin's did.
Well, definitely when they do it, but I have faith that they're gonna get on board. Joel is really into it, and he's a facilities guy, and I think they're gonna get into it. I know Richard Fazy has been really worried that they're not, but I really feel from going to some meetings and being on the community engagement thing with them and stuff, I think they're just gonna come around to it when they can. They got a lot going on. but,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
I think we should not
Hope
say they're not
springs
gonna do it, we
eternal.
should say, let's keep asking them to do it.
Yeah, I think the letters from the representatives were,
Yeah, and I think just showing up at a meeting once in a while, or, you know, asking them to put it on the thing, I think anyway, we'll see how it goes, but I think it's
okay.
all right. And also getting Christopher Ross involved. He wants to, once in September, they talk about what the indoor air quality is gonna be. I think that's a good time for Christopher to talk about the performance contracting. And that could even go into what the energy committee is doing. It could be mixed in with school and what's going on in town. I don't know if that will really mix, but, you know, Christopher's really interested in energy and efficiency and climate change and climate stuff, so. Anyway,
He's a good writer.
Any way to create a student uprising?
I think that ultimately having students talking about it is gonna be good, and I don't think we have to go as far as an uprising. I really don't think we have to do that. I think we just need to show up and be a part of the conversation, and I think it's gonna move forward.
To encourage it at every opportunity.
Strike.
What's the other thing I wanted to say? Let's see. Something about us trying to find out what the school board policy is relevant to energy issues. And I haven't been able to find that, and that would be helpful, is knowing what the policies are, so then we can bring that up when we're saying, hey, you know, how's that working? All right, is that policy really happening? That's just another way
Do
to.
they have a
So Richard Facey says they have one, and we haven't found it yet. I haven't found it yet. Richard hasn't found it yet. But he says it's there. I don't know why he says it's there, but I haven't found it. Anyway.
You could ask the superintendent to
Yeah,
apply.
so superintendent or facilities guy, yeah, that would be great. Maybe I'll do that.
You're the chair
That
of the...
would, yes. that
That's,
would be
yeah.
I move that Sally
good.
Second.
approaches the
Change
supervisory
yourself to
union
the door.
to inquire.
Yeah, that's great. I like that, thanks. All right, there's lots of things on here, but we can just look at this, you know, you've all got it, and if you're interested in, you know, anything more, like, do we want to host a 5-town energy committee meeting, or are we not really? I mean, the idea of that right now doesn't really excite me right now, but I think at some point, it's fun to get all the energy committees together and find out what's going on in all the towns, but I feel personally good for now. Where are you guys at?
I think hosting it is a good idea, but not as part of our regular meeting.
Definitely not
Yeah.
our meeting, yeah.
I don't know if we even have names of members of these 5-town energy committees. If we have the names, we have their emails, we could certainly send them, just as Starksboro could, minutes of their meetings, so that the 5-town energy committees at least
Well,
get
that's
an
good.
email saying, you know, we met last Monday and this is what we discussed.
Mhm.
Oh, basically sending them our minutes.
Yeah,
You're saying.
send them our
Oh,
minutes.
that's right, instead of everyone getting together, just send them our minutes and then they.
So maybe get together once a year.
Or more proactively or
Yeah.
timely would be to send them our agendas.
So they can
Because
show
our
up if they
minutes,
want.
by the time they're approved,
Yeah.
it's already like
Yeah.
2 months later.
Sure.
Yes, that's good.
Yeah, that's good. So it's an open invitation, but they're getting an agenda.
Anything here strike your fancy? Come on down.
Come on down.
So-
Or let us know what you're doing around
So are
that.
you gonna do that?
Yes.
Begin with the rest of the week.
Yeah, and you know, we've just been talking about something that we have in common in the district, and that is the energy issue at the high school and performance. And so probably bringing the groups, if you have something in common, to talk about and to work toward, I think that would bring people, incentive to bring people together. So if you put out something about the, performance, energy or whatever, saying we're gonna have a discussion about that, and this is what it is, send them that information. If you're interested, would you like to participate on this date?
Right.
With the goal of getting the school board to like respond and take this seriously.
Yeah, and in fact, I'm thinking it might be interesting to see if they want to come to the IAQ presentation that hopefully is going to happen at September school board. Because there is a place to weigh in a little bit and know what's going on and seeing the players and seeing if, seeing what's going on.
Yeah, so that might
When
be
is
a
that
project.
scheduled for? I know it's in the notes, but I didn't get
Well,
that.
it says aim to get performance contracting on the September school board agenda. I don't know what the date is,
Okay.
Wonder what that is. Also coordinate with the Vermont Superintendent's Association. I don't really know much about that, but that was an idea someone put out there at that meeting.
I do.
Oh, yeah?
I used to run that program.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I could contact them and let them know what we're doing.
Yeah, so what is that?
You used to run what program?
The school energy management program for the
Nice.
Superintendent's Association.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's great.
So I know Jeff Francis, he's the guy at the Superintendent's Association, and I think the guy who's doing my job now is Norm Etkind. Does that ring a bell? Norm Etkind? I think he's still doing the same
Ringing a
thing.
bell, but I'm not coming up with them.
But anyways, I can communicate with them anything you want me to.
Okay. Yeah, what do they do?
So that particular program is a standalone, the energy management program for schools is a standalone sort of program in a much broader scope of work for the Superintendent's Association, which is mostly about administrative support and legislative support. And what the school energy management program does is provide services to schools to help them identify opportunities and then connect them with contractors and engineers that might be needed to pursue them. And to also support the superintendents in, building support within the communities and getting funding for those projects.
Yeah. So you think performance contracting would be
Yeah,
pretty? It must be all over
totally.
that.
That's a big part of what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think we have to worry too much that they're not going to take advantage of that performance contracting, right?
Don't know why they wouldn't, but
Yeah.
I mean, there are downsides to performance contracting too. I mean,
You're hiring someone else to do stuff, and so they're going to make money off it.
yeah, I mean, it may or may not be more cost effective, and
Right.
it may or may not be more comprehensive.
Right.
Depends on the
Yeah.
nitty gritty of the details of how the
Yeah.
contract is set up.
Yeah.
So you need good counsel when
Yeah.
you're negotiating and developing the RFP and things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I'll just say that this is why the Virgin's technical people could come in and say, we'll help walk you through it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We know what we have to look out for, and we covered that base. You can do the same.
But are the decision makers gonna be receptive to the mechanics, or are they gonna be more receptive to the administration end of the whole idea of contracts and construction companies and paperwork, and maybe they need to hear about that part of it?
Yeah.
Did I ask that?
I don't know.
Well, certainly the engineers and all making their presentation, it's still going to fall upon the facilities managers to put their name on the line and take up the risk. But again, if Regens was successful, it's because they had counsel from wherever, and that's the counsel now they can provide to the facilities manager at the high school. I mean, just, and that's all we're trying to say, is just sit down with them. You don't have to sign a paper. Just understand that you've got some resident counsel just up the road.
And experience, direct experience, yeah.
Yeah, really, I mean, that was, and that's why it's been so frustrating is Richard made the presentation at the last board meeting, and next, you know, it's like, well, you know, wouldn't it be worth our sitting down, but yeah, next, he felt, you know, just burned. Anyway,
Yeah.
enough of that, I guess.
I think they're just not ready to make any decisions on that right now, because they're just doing this huge, wide 5-town, trying to unify the district and find out how they're gonna do stuff across all schools and how they're gonna go about it. And once they know that, then they can decide what they're gonna do. I don't think they're ready to make energy decisions right now because they're
Full plate.
and they're wanting to do school safety first and different things like that. I think they are
It's
gonna
time
do
to
it.
saving money.
Yeah, they're too busy trying to figure out how to save time, you know, when the whole idea was to save time and money.
Right. Yeah,
So
that's
we're
it.
Consolidating.
That's exactly it.
Right, I think that's what they're thinking too, like, okay, we don't even know which buildings we're keeping. You know, are we gonna keep all the buildings? You know, they got big things to think about. They're gonna have to start talking about how they're gonna put what energy in what building quite yet, until they've decided what.
Yeah,
What
it's
is
a lot-
going
it is a
on
lot-
in
It's
this-
a lot to sort
You
out.
There's
gotta
a lot to sort
You
out.
gotta get into those weeds in order to make those decisions, so which buildings are worth keeping. which-
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. The audits should happen, no matter what.
right.
Okay, so next, Liston. What's going on with the library
I still
audit?
haven't done my job. I had a few distractions over the last several weeks, but I
Yeah.
think I'm okay now. So I'm gonna contact Ms. Wilson, I believe it is, Nancy
Yeah.
Wilson,
Nice
and
guy.
try to set something up. I'm gonna need some help though, because I won't be able to do it, so wait me out
Let
for a
us
few
know.
days.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, yeah.
Since you have the most audit experience.
I know how to run a blower door.
Okay, so you're on.
Yeah,
So-
and some of us know how to measure. If we
Blow all
need
the
measuring or
books off
whatever.
the shelf.
So I'll set it up with her, and if I haven't done it by early next week, then if I make somebody else do it, and I'll show up with my equipment.
Is it hard to get a good read when it's like 85 or 90 degrees, you know, doing a dual blower door?
No,
No?
doesn't care.
No.
It's moving air.
That's just air moving, but I mean, for thermal imaging,
Yeah,
it can be hard to get good data.
So,
Right.
when when the air is the same temperature inside and out,
Right.
it doesn't care. It's just moving it.
Yeah.
And even if there is a big temperature difference with the air movement, by the time you get the blower door up to 50, everything's kind of equalized anyway, so you just have to go slow
Mhm.
and let everything do what it's
Yeah, I
gonna
think
do.
I was thinking more about the thermal piece of it.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
dead of winter is a good time.
yeah, infrared imaging gets trickier and trickier as the temperature differences get closer and closer.
What are you gonna ask Nancy exactly?
When would you allow us to go in there and crawl all over the place and stick our heads in every nook and cranny for about 3 or 4 hours?
Yeah, okay, great.
And we'd have to be able to, close out all the doors, we'd have to be able to fire up the heating system.
Wow.
Doing efficiency testing and stuff on combustion appliances?
Have I done it? I've done it, but I don't have the equipment anymore.
Well, I can take care of that.
Okay.
We'll see how to divvy up the task.
Haven't done it for a while.
Okay, great. Getting through everything here.
So you'll hear from me sometime next week.
Okay,
I'll talk to her
okay, excellent, great.
if I don't go down again.
Yeah, I hope you feel healthy.
Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
I'll get over it.
Well, if, you know, yeah,
We'll get
Just keep us posted.
keep us posted
Yeah.
and don't stress about it.
Yeah.
I won't stress too much. I got better things to stress about.
Yeah,
You guys aren't gonna hurt me,
yeah, that's
I
right.
don't think.
All right, so, we brought up something, the Extinction Rebellion meeting or something. We were just saying that, so that's, did you catch that already? or-
I put it
That's
in
already
as an
there.
announcement.
Okay,
yeah.
great. So that was just an announcement.
Yep.
All right, we're getting down to approval of the minutes. Is there anything else that people, I think we're done. So did everyone take a look at the meetings from the minutes from last
Good-
meeting?
That was good work.
Good, yeah.
Really,
I think Richard did it.
that was impressive.
Serious bit of that.
You take good minutes.
Well,
Yeah, he is good.
Sally kind of corrects.
I always
and
play
adds
as
and- yeah,
around with it, but
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it's a
between the two of
joint,
us-
it's a joint
But
thing.
definitely, you are a good note taker. I'm so happy about that.
I definitely need help.
And you turn them around quickly too. I mean, it took me forever trying to turn notes around and I still miss them.
I'm taking minutes for 4 organizations, so I gotta do them right away.
Yeah.
They're gonna
Yeah,
look
really.
really weird.
All right, so has everyone looked in the minutes and are they as you'd like?
I'm gonna move them,
You wanna-
somebody
yeah.
do the formal,
Am I able to do that?
I moved.
yeah.
I second.
What were you gonna say?
Just a comment, because I do follow the progress of the Transportation and Climate Initiative. And it's moving along, and the 10 states and the mayor of Washington DC might just sign off on the final product end of the year, which then it goes to, well, the governor will sign off as well, but it goes to the state legislature. And then it's the state legislature's determination that they want to do a reggie on gasoline. But what's been missing in the discussion for these several years, almost 8 years, is a real focus on how this will affect the rural communities and low-income families. They have not been at the table. And it's only recently that the economic and environmental justice groups are saying, hey, wait a minute, we need to look at this because we don't know if our constituents can afford this. An increase in the gasoline pump price, for what purpose? And anyway, it's something that I'm actually going to bring to the attention of Representative Kurt McCormick, who very likely chair this working group on transportation, because it's an opportunity for the legislature to start bringing in concerns of the rural communities if we're going to do this. Because remember, Senator Ash killed the 2-cent fee for reason of carbon tax. Okay, and he was afraid he's going to lose seats in the 2020 election. So bringing the communities in and letting people say, well, we would need to know that if you're going to buy electric buses in Burlington for $400,000, what are you going to do for us up in the Northeast Kingdom?
Right.
Totally.
Yeah. So it's
Good question.
Yeah, it's gotta be
So
worked out.
it's something that this transportation working group could actually start ferreting out spokespersons who say, yeah, we could go along with it, but we've got to be assured we can protect our communities. So you have 3 Republican governors, Maryland, Massachusetts, and Vermont, looking to increase the cost of gasoline for the purpose of plowing back proceeds to the states for efficiency investments, i.e. RGGI, okay? It's really important, but it has to be done in a way that the state legislature, including Senator Ash, would say, well, we it's gonna be a big bite, but we've covered some bases that are important. The rural vote. In Oregon, the legislature did want to join California's cap and invest on gasoline. And the legislature in the House passed a really progressive piece of legislation. When it went over to the Senate Republicans walked away from the state legislature and hid out in Idaho for about a week.
Yeah, that's
And now it's up to the governor to do an executive order. And it was the rural vote that will probably kill it in Oregon. That's why I say we need a rural strategy here in Vermont.
Yeah, yeah.
Did they send the state police after those guys? That's what they
Well,
threatened.
they
They
tried,
did,
they
but
tried
they-
to find people and
They couldn't cross state lines, though, I think.
No,
probably not.
state police
No
can't go into
jurisdiction.
Idaho, and they weren't all bachelors, right?
So we're moved and seconded. We
It was
should
loony.
Yeah,
finish that.
so all in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye, yes.
Great.
I have one final thing now that, before we adjourn, I meant to mention it during the biodigester talk. I've been studying the Act S96, the clean water funding. And one of the interesting things in it is that funding for innovative or alternative technologies or practices designed to improve water quality, blah, 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 including community-based methane digesters, may be funded through this act.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's kind of interesting.
And water quality?
Sure, because
Yeah, run.
Oh, because
The-
it's
the
runoff,
right,
the runoff,
got it.
yeah, they're gonna hook them right up to the cows. Anyway, I brought this
Melting them from
along.
one end and
What do you got here?
This is the bill, or the act as
The act?
enacted, yeah. I've got to do a thing on it in October with Chris Bray and Julie Moore, so
Are we, is the
Where are you getting?
meeting pretty much over?